eligible for... Back to the show. Today, weather alert this morning. Adults across the country are today eligible for a fifth COVID booster shot. The recommendation is for those who have not had a booster shot in the past 6 months or a COVID infection. Let's bring in today medical expert Dr. Nick Coatsworth. Doc, good morning to you. Another jab, is it necessary?
Well, Karl, the language is really important from ATAGI here. They've said that adults are eligible for a fifth dose. Note that they haven't recommended the fifth dose, and that's really important. The recommendation is for adults over the age of 65 and those with really severe medical conditions that put people at risk of COVID. And given that only 4 out of 10 Australians have had the fourth dose, I think you can probably bet that the number getting the fifth will be less.
As you know, I'm not a glowing ambassador for more than 2 shots. I've just decided that I've had COVID a couple of times and I'm done with the vaccines. There's a big chunk of Australia that is done with it, and there's another chunk that is happy to keep having them. Is it capable of fighting new strains, this vaccine?
Well, let's understand the science, which is if you get a fifth dose, your protection against severe disease is enhanced for around about 8 to 12 weeks. And then it returns to what it was after the fourth dose or the third dose. So it's very transient protection, Karl. It's not increased protection for life. And that's the problem with these boosters. And of course, eventually, we're going to have to stop with these recommendations for ongoing boosters.
I'm cognizant of also people in my life who are over the age of 60. Who are still incredibly nervous about getting COVID.
That's such a problem. That's such a problem, Karl, because they needn't be. If you're a relatively healthy, over 60-year-old and you're living at home and you're independent and you've had your doses of vaccine, then the likelihood of you going to hospital with COVID is extraordinarily small, and I don't think we've communicated that well. And the health department's still going out and saying, oh, you all need to be worried.
Yeah, they're frightened.
And they don't need to be worried. My patients don't need to be worried because most of them don't have the severe medical conditions that warrant that.
The other thing that I'm concerned about is that if I have another dose, that I may get complications. I've seen all these reports on the internet about fit and healthy people just dropping down with heart issues, and it's still not obviously established yet whether or not the vaccine caused some of these heart issues. But that's a worry for me, more so than getting COVID.
Well, with respect to your age, Karl, I think the real worry for myocarditis and pericarditis is adolescent boys, and that's why ATAGI's come out and said no more booster doses for people under the age of 18. So they are taking into account those complications. I don't think there's hundreds and thousands of sudden cardiac deaths that are being swept under the carpet. I don't know. Yes, we do know that because I think the TGA is doing a good job. You know, no regulatory agency is perfect, but there's not tens of thousands of people who are suffering complications that we don't know about. This is a safe vaccine. There are complications, but we know what they are.
Doc, always good to talk to you. Let us know
Karl.
how you feel about that at home as well. Over you, Seth.